Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about the Twilight Zone Season 2, Episode 2. It's called The Man in the Bottle. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. This episode's about a couple who own an antique shop, who, take stuff in for money and sell stuff, and they're up to their eyeballs in debt. They're struggling to pay their bills, and they're offered this vase from this old woman who is desperate for money herself, and as an act of kindness, the man kind of like gives her $1 for it, even though it's not really worth anything, and sends her on her way. But of course, when this bottle is knocked over, it is revealed a genie, and they get 4 wishes, and that's the episode. I won't say the rest of it's we'll get into. Tara, did you enjoy The Man in the Bottle?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I like this one. I actually remembered watching it once it got started. Not that it's, a story that you haven't heard before, Genie in a Bottle, but I thought it was pretty good. I liked the writing in it a lot. I liked the leading to, well, the two people who own the shop, the husband and wife duo. I thought they were really great.
Yeah, Arthur and Edna are the characters' names. And what's funny is that I was like, that's Edna, this actress who's playing her. I'm like, I recognize her. And
Yeah.
I was trying to think about it, and I looked her up. And do you know what I know her from, funnily enough? I know her from a previous episode of The Twilight Zone that we did in Season 1.
Which one was she in?
She was in The Fever. She was the wife in The Fever.
Oh,
So...
I see.
Which was also about money in a weird way. So that's twice.
Bit, yeah.
That's twice now we've had an actor come back, and they've kind of thematically had the same kind of thing in their second episode as the first episode.
Right. Same with the not what was his name?
Oh, I'm not gonna remember his name, but I can tell you he was in the 2 robot episodes.
Right. The one of the jurors from 12 Angry Men.
Yes. Yes. So. So that was the thing. But, I thought it was okay as well. I didn't think it was like a great episode, but I thought there was enough fun stuff in there. The couple's nice enough. I think it does a really smart job at the start of actually making us like them. Like, because it'd be very easy to do this and make them these greedy people who are kind of sniveling or whatever. But they go out of their way to make it, no, he is a nice man. He gives this woman $1, even though he's struggling himself. And he doesn't have to, but he does it anyway.
Yeah, and you want them to have some good fortune come along because they're really struggling and they're still helping out their neighbor.
Yeah, well, hell, after well, not their first wish, sorry, their second wish, when they wish for $1 million, like the very next scene of them is them handing out wads of cash to all the people who live in their street, and I'm like, they care about everyone in the street. They're giving everyone money. They're like, here's $5,000 to you, $5,000 to you. Everyone, pay off some debts. It's like, even once they actually make some wishes, they're not like overly greedy with it. Sure, they're happy. They're understandably happy and rolling around in the money. Although I do have one question. If a genie popped out, right, and forget the possible consequences or the monkey's paw type situation that's going to arise, like, surely you would just go to a much higher number, right? Like, why would you just say 1 million? Like, you could say 10 million, 50 million, a billion.
I guess. I mean, they're dirt poor, so maybe $1 million sounds like the most amount of money they can have.
I mean,
who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I'll buy that in 1960. Maybe the concept of $1 billion wasn't as commonly thought of because.
But sure, 999 million was.
Yeah, like tens of millions at least. I have to imagine people thought about. It's that joke from the first Austin Powers, right? When Dr. Evil comes out of hibernation or whatever, and he's like, "That's we'll hold the world's ransom for $1 million," and everyone's like, $1 million.
That's it.
So that's not as much as it used to be, Dr. Evil. Why bumping the figure up a bit? 10 million?
He was from the 60s also.
It was. That's a good point. I did not expect to make an Austin Powers reference coming out of this review, but here we are. Sometimes it happens.
It's not my bag, baby. It's been a long time. I don't remember a lot of Austin Powers quotes.
What was that? And no, I'm not doing any fat bastard lines. That character is offensive to my people. I will not have it. Not doing it.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite character anyway.
Yeah, between that and Shrek, Mike Myers really was a bit of a detriment to the Scottish people. I'm not going to lie.
But how is his accent? Pretty good?
It's a bit cartoony. No pun intended. That's not just a joke because of Shrek, but like, it's kind of like, Scotty from Star Trek. Like, he's doing a sort of Scottish thing, but it's not a real Scottish voice. It's a animated Scottish voice.
Okay.
Like if I'm doing a Scotty impression, I don't just say, "Oh, she can't take it, Captain," in my accent the way I'd say it. I have to go, "She can't take it, Captain." I need to put on the extra pizzazz.
Well, that's how they say it in the future. Scots will sound different.
All right, okay, that's your headcanon.
The post World War III Scotty.
So so we see the husband do this nice thing, and then his wife's mad at him because they're struggling to pay bills, and then they knock over the bottle. The genie appears, and this genie is like so like maniacally laughing every time he finishes a sentence that I wouldn't trust making a wish.
Less of a genie and more of like Mephistopheles or something.
he's like a mad con man who just gets off on people actually taking the bait.
Yeah.
But he says he got 4 wishes, which is an interesting number. It's not usually 4, usually 3 in my experience.
Usually.
Yeah, I say in my experience, I mean genies in other TV show episodes and movies, not in
this
real
one's
life.
a very generous genie.
Apparently. I wonder if it's because they always use the first one to test the wishes, so it's like, no, we'll give them 4. So they get 3 proper wishes, but the first one's just always a little test.
Yeah.
Which it is, they because I actually did notice the broken glass on the display case, and he's like,
there's a lot going on in the set, so it's easy to miss, I think.
Yeah, I noticed that there was just one of the shots when he was at the counter, he was leaning on it. I just noticed it was like broken at the bottom of the frame. And once again, Rod Serling was in the set at the start of the episode. He kind of, because I argued with you last episode if he was there at the start or not. And I don't know if we checked during the review or if you did it afterwards, but you did check and you proved me wrong. I couldn't remember him doing it.
I think it was after, yeah.
Yeah, that's how well it was integrated. But once again, he showed up on set to sort of give his intro in front of the actors, and they knock over the bottle. Genie comes out. They wish for the broken glass to be fixed, and it magically fixes itself. Goes back to being solid, and it's like, oh, okay, this is real. And Arthur gets a little bit excited. He starts thinking, oh, money. We could wish for money.
Yeah, but his wife is really hesitant. Like, she's more concerned about, like, this is not fair. Like, people don't just get something for free. It's, unholy, I think she says.
Yes, this is not godly or something like that, she said. But he's determined. He's like, let's get some money. How we could get $10,000, and I'm like, 10,000, up the figure, man. Like, but sure enough,
you have a blank check. Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually, he says 1 million, and he even says, "What denomination would you like it?" He's like, "Oh, in 5s and 10s. I want $1 million in 5s and 10s, right here on the floor." So they start pouring in from the ceiling. I've got to be honest here. I mean, maybe it's deceiving. I didn't think that looked enough 5s and 10s to be $1 million. Once it all landed.
I have no idea what $1 million looks like.
In 5s and 10s, I mean, $1 million's a big number if you're just going to go up in 5s and 10s.
That's true.
Like, if you're going up in, let's just say it's 10s, and it's not, it's, half of it's 5s apparently, but let's just say it's 10s, that's 100,000 $10 bills. I don't know if that looks like 100,000 $10 bills.
I don't think so.
And it's not really a complaint, it's just more of an amusing observation than it is I don't really care.
If it was just $1 bills, it would have filled up the whole room.
Oh, sure, absolutely. It'd be literally 1 million of them.
Yes.
But now he's rolling about their money. They're both so excited. But to their credit, this is the thing. Like, the very next scene is them handing money out to all of their neighbours and all the people they know around them that are struggling and have debt. And the funny thing is that even though they kind of don't get to keep any money by the end of it, they actually, all the neighbours who got the money did get to keep theirs. Like, they all had their happy day. They all had their little, $5 grand like intakes.
Yeah. They didn't get to keep theirs because the taxman comes around. It's like, oh, I see you have $1 million that you didn't claim.
Yeah, and I know it's just for the purpose of what the episode is doing, but if I have any
Yeah.
critiques about the plot of this episode, it's all about the taxman. Because, first of all, I know they're exaggerating for the sake of the dark joke almost, but so they get $1 million and they end up having to pay 900 odd thousand in taxes. No. Just no.
Yeah. Doesn't this happen to like lottery winners or people who go on Oprah's favorite things and get like a free car? All of a sudden they have to pay a lot more money than they thought.
Probably more than they thought, but not 90%. Taxes are not 90%.
No.
At least in most civilized places, anyway, taxes are not 90%. And
Maybe Mr. Serling had some recent run-ins with the taxman or with the government.
So he's like making them look really bad. But that's the lesser of my two problems, actually. The other problem I have with it is, how did the IRS know that they'd come into $1 million? And or more
Word travels fast, I guess.
And more
when there's free
specifically,
money.
all I could think about was, okay, just get more money, but don't tell everyone and advertise it and give out wads of cash. Keep it secret, because it's not like
I guess I kind of just assumed it was the genie who set it up, because there's always
Sure.
a caveat for a wish. So if you wish for money, he also brings the tax man.
That's true, yeah. It was probably the genie who did it. But I'm thinking about in the context if it wasn't. Like, one, how did they know? Secondly, wouldn't they ask questions like, where did this come from? $1 million just appeared. They made, like, usually.
That's true. Although we don't see that very often in these kinds of stories with the wishes. When people wish for money, no one ever asks where did it come from. Like, don't you have to put that in a bank?
Yeah.
Are they going to ask where it came from?
But no, just to go back to that point though, like, typically to be taxed income tax, it has to, be income. Therefore, there's a trail of where it came from. And if there's no trail from where it came from, then realistically, you can't really be taxed for it. It just exists.
Well, I guess, but if you have $1 million in unclaimed money just in your account, like, aren't they going to know?
I mean, I think the bank flags it and it's big enough. So if you walk into a bank and just put $1 million in, but if you go in, I don't know what the numbers are, but I think it's something like if it's like under $5,000 or $10,000, it's not big enough to raise any eyebrows. It's like, a conceivable amount that someone might put in.
Or just lock it in a trunk somewhere in the woods and hope that no one finds it.
I'd put it in multiple places. I wouldn't put it all in one. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I'd have like 5 or 10 hiding places, all divvied up.
And then draw a treasure map and install a bunch of booby traps.
Just go to the bank every day and put in a couple hundred, and eventually it'll all be in there. No one knows eyebrow.
Or just pay cash for everything for the rest of your life.
I love how we're basically having a conversation of how to hide $1 million from the IRS. That's essentially what this boils down to.
Hey, the episode puts it in your head.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically though, if you magically got money, like, you couldn't explain where it came from, so you wouldn't tell anyone about it anyway. You just kind of hide it and use it in secret, right?
Yeah, unless you're really generous neighbors, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I might still do that to people I care about, but I'd be like, on the hush-hush, right? No one tell anyone anything. Here's some cash. Go buy yourself something pretty. Then slap them in the cheek a wee bit. Basically,
Except for Connor, right?
No, I'll just slap him. No money for him. Just a slap. So that was obviously the second wish. That was the big thing. The episode ad break ends with the IRS man kind of looking back in as they're counting their money. Because at first, somebody walks in and says, "Oh, you need to pay some taxes." They're like, "Oh, that's fine, just bill us." Like, he's like, "Yeah, whatever. What was it? 20%, 30%?
Taxes?
Yeah, we can afford it." But we come back after the ad break and they've put all the money in a box. He's been counting it, which I can't even imagine how long it would take to count that money that's in 5s and 10s up to 900 plus thousand. But they've got it in a box, and it's like, okay, this covers the taxis, which leaves $5. Literally $5 for us.
Hey, you came out on top.
Yes. So Ginny comes back, and it's like, oh, we shouldn't have any more wishes, blah blah blah. But he's like, no, like, because the wife is dead against it, but the husband's like, no. Arthur's like, no, I can think of something, not money, because you'll trick us again. No. I'll tell you what I want. I want power. And he kind of like, maybe I could be the head of a corporation or something. And the genie starts suggesting things, maybe the mayor of a city. And he's like, no, I want to be the ruler of a country. And what's funny is that by the time he gets to the end of explaining this, and like, because he gets really specific, he's like, no, I want to be the ruler of a foreign country where I can't be voted out of office, and whatever. And the wife eventually is like, yeah, vote for that, Arthur. She's going along with it, and you're like, okay, this is going to. And there was one weird part where he said limited to this century, and I was like, why not present day? That's not like, say right now, like, say right now. But sure enough, he gets the wish, and this is the closest thing the episode has to a twist. Is what the sort of the caveat is for this one, is that it makes him Hitler. We cut to him in a bunker right at the end of the war, right before Hitler's going to commit suicide, and he's got the mustache and everything, and he's got the outfit on. And I'm like, yeah, this fills all the yep, he's a ruler who can't be taken out of office. It's a foreign country.
Yeah, it was a bit silly, but I liked it too. It was funny.
Yeah, I mean, this episode, I think, is kind of like a fluffy episode. And it's got a couple of fun moments. It's got some fun characters. It's not one we're going to be talking about, I think, at the end of the season, going, oh, that was a great episode. They brought up all these great ideas and got us thinking about things. But all of it did get us thinking about how to evade the IRS, I suppose. I mean, that's something. But that's not what we think about when we're usually talking about Twilight Zone giving us, ideas and making us think.
Right.
So he uses his fourth wish to go back to normal and go back to his wife and go back to his shop. And the episode's moral is basically quite simple. It's once again appreciating what you've got, and not hoping for I mean, obviously hope for better, sure, but there's no quick magical fixes. You have to kind of work through it, and because at the end they kind of hug each other. Like, yeah, this place is pretty good. It's looking quite nice. All of a sudden,
yeah, it's still a happy ending, which I thought was a bit of a surprise. Because normally when you have wishes that come with consequences, it ends in like horrible death or something. For most films or stories that you hear about that, but this one is like a nice, happy note at the end. Like we already have everything we need.
Well, let's look at this. Let's count the things. They're up in two ways. One, they have a newfound appreciation for their life and how it is and how they can work through it, right? They're generally happier at the end because they appreciate it now. And two, they're up $4.
Right?
Because he gave the old woman for $1 for the vase or the jar, and he got $5 at the end of all that box of money. So they're up $4.
Hey, $1 per wish.
He's up $4, so he made a profit in that thing after all, despite the wife's protests.
That's enough to give their life a new paint job.
As they put it, yes. We don't want a new life, we just want to give this one a paint job, is what they say at the end.
I like it.
So, yeah, it's a sweet enough ending, and it's a pleasant enough episode to watch. Moves on quickly enough, doesn't feel like it drags, and yeah. So I can't complain too much. It's better than the first episode because we had a lot of complaints about that first one. I was really down on the premiere of the season.
Yeah, I don't remember.
the plane in the desert.
Oh yeah. Plane, desert, got it. Yeah, that one was okay.
Mediocre.
It was another recreation of the pilot episode.
Yes.
But that was good.
I don't think this is a recreation of another episode, but certainly the genie isn't that unlike a lot of the characters that represent death or represent, I'm thinking A Nice Place to Visit. Like, he wasn't a genie per se, but he was kind of doing the same sort of thing.
Yeah. Or the chaser.
Yeah.
Guy has everything you need.
The caveats, yep. It's always a caveat. Yep. So there you go. That has been The Man in the Bottle. Obviously, Rod Serling at the end tells us about next week. And he's actually, not in the set in this one, although it is green screened behind them. Although I say green screened, it was probably rear projection at the time because it's
Probably,
1960. But basically, it's like a bird's eye view of this hotel room, and there's a guy in it, and he tells us about this crook in this hotel room, and that's basically it. There's a crook in a hotel room. So there's going to be a bottle episode, which no pun intended. But a lot of the episodes of Twilight Zone often are, because it's just people talking in a room. But that's okay, because that's that's where the writing comes in. But it's called Nervous Man in a $4 Room. Here is the description in IMDb. Small-time criminal Jackie Rhodes must face both his past and his conscience while waiting for his next assignment. So
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I remember the title for this one. I don't remember what it was though. I just remember the title kind of sticking out at me.
Oh, maybe it'll come back when you're watching it. This one kind of did for me.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I had a weird feeling of deja vu. I actually never mentioned this, but at the Hitler reveal, I actually did have this weird moment of, like, oh, this is kind of ringing a bell here. Like, I'm kind of feeling like I've seen this before, and I have. I mean,
that was a pretty unique reveal.
Yeah, for the record, like I originally years and years ago, so like I say, I barely remember most of the episodes, but I did watch season 1 and 2. So when we get to season 3, I have seen nothing from that point on. It'll all be completely new to me, but there'll be the occasional little memory coming up here or there. There's a few notable episodes that I remember quite well, and then there's a lot that I don't. So
right, I've never watched through the seasons like this before, but they used to do marathons on TV for the Twilight Zone all the time. I mean, admittedly, they would be more like the well-known episodes, but I think I've seen quite a few of them.
So we'll see you next time for Nervous Man in a $4 Room. But this has been The Man in the Bottle. So let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. You can like and subscribe, ding the bell to make sure you get the notifications on YouTube. You can support the show and everything we do, of course, by rating the audio podcast on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars, helps more people find us, grows our audience, so that kind of thing. You can also support us financially. Tara, how can people do that?
You can check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MouthFuzzTV. Donations as low as $1 per month will get you bonus features. We do not necessarily outtakes, but tangents get cut now and put on the Patreon page. You'll get bonus episodes of other shows that we do, like the ACE, the Atomic Cinema Experiment. If you like sci-fi, we review old sci-fi films and new ones. So check it out.
And new ones, yeah. For the record, the tangents that get cut out are when they're over a certain length. If it's a quick little 30-second thing, it'll just stay in. But sometimes, I mean, I literally just was editing an episode of the Atomic Cinema Experiment today, and there was a 12-minute discussion. What was it about? Oh God, I can't remember now. But there was a 12-minute discussion about some subject that was just like, we kind of went into it away from the movie and just talked about
currency.
No, we did do that, but that wasn't a bonus bit, as we call them, that goes on Patreon. But there was one later on. That's going to bug me now. But anyway.
Riveting.
Thank you very much. Tony! You're in a mood tonight. Alright, thank you very much, guys, for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV in the Twilight Zone.